what certifications should I get? When it comes to a person trying to break into this industry, one of the first questions I get asked is, what certifications should I get to get myself into the field? I think one of the great things about cybersecurity is when it came to how people started, we did have people moving from kind of similar or quasi-technical positions into the field. So you'll find that there's a lot of people that have kind of grown themselves into cybersecurity. There's a lot of people that don't have many certifications. And I understand too that certifications only are not the only choice. You know, we talk about people being a paper certification, but they don't have the hands-on experience. So you definitely want to be cognizant of your practical skills and your certifications. The certifications are industry-wide, which is a good thing. So it isn't some kind of school only, or it could be different at a certain school. If you want to be a Cisco certified person, you will do the Cisco certifications. They will allow you to challenge yourself to meet those certification criteria to get that particular designation. It's the same thing with the SANS certifications, or if you're going more on the governance side, CISA or CISSP, which is from ISC squared. CISA is from ISACA. So there's basically different groups that have their own types of certifications that you can pick and choose from. I think what's important from a certification perspective is very similar to the different, I'll call them buckets for now, or areas or columns of cybersecurity. So engineering, architecture, technical, governance, management. You're going to likely have specific certifications for those particular realms. So if I'm going to be a technical person, first I want to know what kind of area of technical within cybersec that I'm interested in. And then I would look at the certifications that are a part of that umbrella. Back to governance, for ISC squared, which is the CISSP, probably the most well-known certification that they have, and they have many more now. That is in the governance, and you could almost say audit, regulatory area, having to do with security control frameworks. They're giving you kind of a very big holistic view of information security. And they used to have 10 domains, I think now they have 7. And they basically help you to understand those different groups. And then you're tested on that. You do have, I think, a minimum 5-year working requirement in order to get the certification, which I think helps that designation. Because you do want, if I'm hiring, I do want to help the organization by giving someone that's not just passed a test, but that also I think has at least, in this case, 5 years of experience of hands-on in the field, in the trenches experience along with it. So that's one of the good things I think about the CISSP designations and for CISA and others. So for ISC squared, that's CISSP. For CISA, that is the ISACA group. Earlier in my career, I was lucky to get into these certifications. Some of these certifications, kind of aging myself, were just starting, especially for CISSP and for CISA. I also, grabbed some other similar certifications that I want to talk about too, like under ISACA. The CRISC, I actually find as one of the most helpful certifications I've had. The reason is later on, so I'd say in the past 10 years or so, the business acumen component, especially as I'm doing more consulting with C-level or C-suite people. Being purely technical, it's not that it wasn't a good thing. It's always helpful. And it's good when I'm talking to the engineers and the true techs to be able to show them at least I have a certain understanding when it comes to the technical side and having that acumen. But for the C-suite people and the higher level management, they wanted to make sure I understood the business. And CRISC, for example, from ISACA was very helpful in that way. It's kind of like CISA, but with a more direct alignment to the business. How things impact the business, how you can improve business processes using security solutions was very, very helpful for me. So that's one of the certifications that I tell other people that were successful for myself and for my business. And the people in my team all have CRISC as an example. As an entry level certification, I found that the ISO 27001/2 certification has been very, very helpful because it's a 1-week course that you can take, and it gives you very intensely within those 5 days, because you're there for a full day. You're being tested daily, and you're in a group with other people that are either trying to get into the industry or already are in the industry. So you get a bit of a mixed experiential set of people with you. And it does give you kind of a crash course into information security. And you have to pass a test at the end to get your certification, but with enough study and with the support of the teachers in the class and the other students, I think it's very doable. And it gets you a certification, I think, much quicker than other certifications that are out there, still giving you a general understanding of information security. So that's another one that I've told other people to potentially pursue. You can look for things like a provisional auditor or an ISO 27001 auditor. Those are two of the potential positions there. For technical, again, it really depends on the different areas that you're interested in. Cloud is a huge area. Most organizations are moving towards cloud if they haven't already moved towards cloud. And having a certification, even if it is a more entry-level certification, is very, very helpful. And to speak to that point, you'll find that most certifications have different levels. So using Google Cloud, for example, they'll have an associate cloud administrator, I forget what it's called, but basically it's their first entry-level certification for cloud under the Google technical architecture and landscape. They then have multiple tiers and areas within cloud. So you could be someone that helps to understand cloud terminology in regards to its products. You could have certifications that are based on cloud security for Google. And then you can have things that are like the highest level and most difficult certifications, which is to be a cloud architect. And there's very, very few of those. You'll find that the harder, obviously, the certification is, the fewer there are. And this is always something to keep in mind as well, is that if you want to differentiate yourself and truly show a skill set, getting one of those more difficult certifications can definitely be a smart move for your career. It helps to show that you're at a very, very high level and that you're able to obviously deal with the most challenging problems, the most challenging questions that your customers and or your business may have for you. It also takes that much more dedication and time to put the time and effort to get those certifications. Most of these, especially the cloud architect, you'll be expected to build a cloud infrastructure. You'll need to have an environment, usually a virtual environment that you can get through Google, to practice this, building your own environments, configuring them, breaking them, fixing them, thinking about ways to innovate those environments, being on chat boards with other techs that have a lot of experience, listening to their problems. So if you want to get to that kind of level, you have to also understand you're going to have to put that much time behind it as well. But they are very fulfilling when you get them, and it does allow you to be that much more rare of a skill set, which can only help you in your career.